In 17th century India, the expanding Mughal Empire and the independent Sikh Panth were locked in a cycle of intensifying violence. Following the execution of the fifth Guru, the movement had shifted from purely spiritual teachings toward an organized armed resistance. Har Rai stepped into this conflict at just 14 years old. He assumed the role of spiritual leader while also taking command of a battle-ready army of cavalry and musketeers inherited from his grandfather. The center of this power was the Akal Takht in Amritsar. It was a physical throne and a court of justice, serving as the high command where the Guru conducted the political and military affairs of the Sikh nation. This left a teenager in an impossible position, serving as a supreme commander during an era of imperial persecution, responsible for a standing army he had not built but was now required to lead. Har Rai's nature stood in sharp contrast to this military role. One afternoon, his heavy cloak accidentally caught and snapped a delicate flower stem. He felt a profound sense of remorse over the harm to a single plant. For the rest of his life, he was seen meticulously gathering his robes with both hands while walking, ensuring his clothing never touched the local flora. While he maintained the army as a defensive deterrent, he refused to initiate violence. He trained his soldiers in martial arts and kept hundreds of horses in his stables, but he never led them into an offensive war. It was in fragile balance. We have to look at how a leader with this level of sensitivity toward a broken plant could manage the safety of his people while living under the shadow of the Mughal Empire. Har Rai's response to the surrounding violence was a proactive focus on the cultivation of life. He turned the settlement of Kiratpur into a center for ecological and medical study. He established the Navlakha Bagh, a massive garden containing 900,000 plants. It was a sanctuary that institutionalized his philosophy of protection. This garden was a systematic cultivation center for rare medicinal roots and berries. Each species was carefully selected. The notations surrounding these illustrations show a deep study of pharmacology. Har Rai amassed medical knowledge that would eventually prove as significant as his army. He even adapted the royal tradition of hunting. Instead of killing animals, he captured them and placed them in a zoological park within Kiratpur, treating the town as a refuge for both plants and animals. This transformed Kiratpur into a strategic asset. By weaponizing compassion through science, he created an institution that provided the community with resources the Mughals could not ignore. The test of this strategy arrived when Prince Dara Shikoh, the favored heir to Emperor Shah Jahan, fell deathly ill in the Mughal court. The prince was dying from a rare poison derived from tiger whiskers. It was a lethal toxin causing internal damage that traditional imperial medicine was unable to stop. Desperation grew within the court as every treatment offered by the royal physicians failed. Facing the loss of his heir, the emperor sent an urgent request, begging the Sikh leader for a cure from his renowned gardens. The survival of the Mughal successor was suddenly dependent on the medical expertise of a group the empire had actively tried to suppress. Har Rai responded immediately. He offered the cure unconditionally, without using the prince's life as a political bargaining chip. He identified the specific antidote required for the tiger whisker poison within the massive garden's collection of rare medicinal herbs. The rare herbs were dispatched to the Mughal court, where they successfully neutralized the toxin and saved the prince's life. The act proved that his botanical study was not a hobby. It was a form of soft power that allowed the Sikhs to survive and influence the imperial line of succession through science rather than the sword. Many within the Sikh community questioned the move. They saw no reason to save the heir of an empire that had executed the Guru's own ancestors. Har Rai explained his reasoning using the same botanical logic he applied in his garden, focusing on the inherent nature of a flower. He told them, if a man plucks flowers with one hand and gives it away using his other hand, both hands get the same fragrance. For him, protecting life was an absolute duty. He demonstrated that his environmental stewardship and his political forgiveness were two parts of the same disciplined philosophy. This history earned him the title of the Green Guru, marking him as a figure who prioritized ecological balance as a core religious principle. His legacy is institutionalized today through Sikh Environment Day, celebrated every March 14th on the anniversary of his leadership began. This combination of armed deterrence and medical diplomacy maintained the safety of the Sikh Panth for the duration of his 17-year leadership. While the rise of the conservative Emperor Aurangzeb would eventually bring new conflicts, Har Rai's tenure successfully avoided open warfare. He proved that environmental mastery could be a strategic asset. By mastering the natural world, he found a way to protect a community and survive the pressure of a global superpower.